see. Joe, Texas, you're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello. Joe.
Andrew, how you doing?
Fine, how are you? You got to turn your radio down.
Yeah. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to, society, decide that certain taxes are going to be necessary and certain aren't. And we're going to have to start taxing the people that are outsourcing our jobs to third world countries.
What do you mean our jobs?
The jobs that should be Americans. That they're making.
But you don't own a job.
No, wait a minute. I know you've given me your ultra-conservative crap, and I don't like the liberals or the conservatives in that respect.
Hold on, it's not ultra-conservative crap. You don't own your job.
Well, this country, you have a business. Okay, you start in this country. You owe it to the American people to keep the jobs here. If you take them out, we got to tax you either out of existence or till you come back, okay? And tariff you and everything else. Remember, the Founding Fathers were all for tariffs. That's how we had our revenue in those days.
They were for
right?
they were for tariffs when foreign governments wanted to access our markets before we had industries of our own.
Well, exactly. And these industries are American industries,
but they're not owned. They're not owned. They're not proprietary entities, sir.
Huh?
They're not proprietary entities.
Look, they owe this country to keep.
No, they don't. No, they don't. So look, you have to understand something. No, they don't. If you want to believe in this fallacy, you can believe it. But the fact of the matter is, a company can relocate its headquarters to another country, have a factory in a second country.
They can do that, but they're going to be taxed, and taxed 2, 3, 4 times. Would it be taxed if they kept? So
you would rather. So you're basically saying if I can't have you, nobody can.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this is the United States of America. You owe this country to keep. Where do you,
based on what? Where do you find the government authority to exercise that power that you're now describing?
The government owes it to the people. Okay, to the people of this country. All right, and that's not dictatorship. That's exactly what that is. But this is a corrupt government, so it won't do that.
It's not, sir.
Political aisle.
Sir, if I start a business, who do I owe because I start that business?
You owe it to yourself, but you also owe it to the people of this country because you.
No, I don't. No, you don't, sir. I know you're trying to paint me as less than patriotic. Okay, when we look at what the government is supposed to be taxing us for, if I own a business, now obviously a certain level of security is required to have an economy. I mean, you do need the securing of property in person. So when the government says, well, we're going to provide a police force, okay, that police force directly benefits me, and we're going to provide a fire department, okay, fine, and we're going to turn the lights on the streets so people can navigate the roads, okay, fine. But is my business predicated on welfare redistribution?
No, it's not.
So when the government's taking money from a taxpayer or a business owner, and when the government is giving all the power of the government to the labor unions, and the government is regulating those businesses out of existence, and they say, we just can't do it anymore. Do they still owe the American people?
They'll leave in this country because they can pay somebody $1 a day in some third world hellhole, and they've got. Because
everything about running a business, sir, is cost deference. If the government is going to make it so expensive to do business in this country, businesses, in order to survive, are going to have to defer costs, and labor is one of them.
Well, we've got to get rid of our trade agreements and bring these and make sure they bring the jobs back and tax them out of existence if they don't.
Tax them out of existence. Well, you know what? How about, and if doctors don't want to participate in Obamacare, we'll tax them out of existence. And if farmers don't want to participate in the USDA nutrition program ordered by Michelle Obama, we'll tax them out of, let's tax everybody out of existence. Take the big 400-pound hammer and smash everybody's brains in that doesn't want to do what you say. I know what he was trying to do. I know exactly what he was trying to do. Well, you guys, you ultra-conservatives with your conservative crap. I'm talking about economics. If here's your operating costs, and here's your revenue, and here's your profits and profit margins. If the government keeps increasing the cost of doing business, businesses have to spread those costs out. If you're going to give all the power to the labor movement, which is going to increase the cost of labor, and then the government's going to give power to the bureaucracies to create new regulations. And then you're going to start saying, well, if you're going to have a farm, you got to have a CDL to drive your tractor. You've been driving that tractor on your farm for 3 generations, but now we think you ought to have a federal license. When a business can't defer costs, it goes out of business. It's that simple. And then nobody benefits from it.